I think I'm recording, so let me get started. Hi, everybody. This is Sharifa, the New Year Review. Welcome or welcome back. It's been a while. It has been a while since I've made a video. Been kind of busy, um, but I have been watching your videos. So thank you for stopping by and watching my video. This year, I decided that I wanted to focus on um, finding my footing, whatever that looks like. Um, I started this channel, I would say it's been almost 6 years ago. Or has it been 6 years? It's been a while. Um, and I was supposed to do an anniversary video, never got to that. Um, Managed to prepare for other videos, never got to that. But in the year 2025, I promised myself if I want to make a go at it, I have to be consistent. And that has been, I would say, mostly, a challenge. Because life is just going to keep happening, but I need to find the time to share my passions. And so this video is the introduction to a series that I'm going to be starting in 2025. It is my 25 of 2025. So this first video, I will be sharing the 25 books I plan to read in 2025. Not that these are going to be the only books I will read in 2025, but the top 25. So I have my list here, and I'm telling you, it was really hard to focus on what I want to put on my TBR to really focus on and read, because my goal is to read these particular books, along with a host of other books, if I can get to them. But for mostly for these particular books right here. So to help me, I did write out the list. And so I want to start this one. This is, let's just say, I don't know when you're going to see this video, but this is my January start. So my introduction, my 25 of 2025. So a couple of things going. Okay, you guys, I have like several cats, and sometimes they get along and sometimes they just don't. Okay. So you may hear them in the background. You may, but they're okay. So let's get started with the video. Let's get started with our books. So I tried to sort them out by fiction, nonfiction, and all that other pleasantries. But I'm gonna be honest with you. I may not give it to you in that order. So let's just go with what we have. So, but I will give you 25, and I do have some honorable mentions only because these are books that I am very interested in reading. And so if by any chance, if I do not get to the ones that are on this list, the honorable mentions, but they will more likely take their place. So let's just do it like that. So let's start with the first one. The first one is Before I Let Go by Kennedy Ryan. I actually started reading this one right here. I'm halfway through. I chose her because there was just really good reviews on this particular book, and there's a second part, and she's coming out with a third in, I think, May. So the goal is to have this one read before her third book is released. And I have the second book, Before I Let Go, and I forgot the name of the other one. But I do have the first two. So this is one of 25 in my 2025. My next book, and I'm not even going to go based on this list because this is the order that I wrote it in, but this is not the order that I have it in. So the next one is A Beautiful Mind, and this is based I originally found out about this book from the film. So the film is about a young mathematician who's a genius, and he's also schizophrenic. And so it tells the life of, tells the story of his life. A Beautiful Mind. What is the name of the author? Oh, Sylvia Nassar. Paperback. I've never read this before. Matter of fact, I think I got this one from the thrift store, which is actually great places to find books. But I got this from the thrift store like a couple of years ago, and so I do plan on reading it this year. Um, so I added this to my top 25 of 2025. This is number 2. Another book that has haunted and I feel like it's so daunting. Um, I've been wanting to read this book for a really, really long time, and I listened to the audio book halfway through, and I had to stop. It was too overwhelming. But I think this is the year that I definitely will be successful in starting and completing the book, and that is Infinite Jest. The author, David Foster Wallace, who was considered a genius, he committed suicide. I think he was like in his 30s. And so the book I became familiar with first was, it wasn't this one. Which one was it? Oh, excuse me. Every now and then I have to give out a blurb. I can't find it. I can't find it. When I do find it, I'll mention it if and when I read this book. But this is a picture of David Foster Wallace, if you can see it. And so, yeah, Infinite Jest is one of my, this is my top, this is number 3 in my 25 of 2025. All right. I'm going to have to figure out how I'm going to put these books where they need to go. They're supposed to transfer from one side to the other, but this whole area is just filled with books and notebooks. The next one I have is Concrete Rose, and I got this a few years ago, right when it came out, because this is supposed to be the second part of The Hate You Give. I read The Hate You Give, loved it. Saw the movie, loved it. And so Concrete Rose tells the story of the protagonist's father. And so this should be interesting. I've had this for so long. I'm just ready to read it and possibly gift it to somebody else. That's why this is going on my TBR for 25 of 2025. Concrete Rose, Angie Thomas. The next one I have, this is Combahee, Harriet Tubman, the Combahee River Raid and the Black Freedom during the Civil War. Tells the story of Harriet Tubman and her journey of in the fight against slavery as she went back and forth as a soldier, helping individuals, helping black people recruit themselves into the army, serving the country to fight for freedom. So I think this would be so interesting. Author Etta F. Fields Black. Just let me see if I can give you a little snippet. If you hear some growling in the back, that's just my older cat. He's about 100 and he's a little grumpy. He doesn't like anybody. He doesn't even like me sometimes. All right. In the spring and the summer of 1863, as the outcome of the Civil War, and with it a fate of the Union, hung in the balance, united Union forces struggled to capture the offense. One promising place was along the coastal waters of South Carolina. A year and a half earlier, the Union Navy had taken the port cities of Port Royal and Beaufort, where the Union then made plans to attack the expansive rice plantation lining the maze of rivers that fed into and out of the South's heartland during the Combahee River. So this should be very interesting. And I'm just curious. I'm excited. So this is one of my 25 in 2025. Yeah, I look forward to it. May do a book review on this one too. My next one is Plantations, Good, A Material History of American Slavery. Seth Rockman. This is a book of a history of the tools that was created by slaves to help them and assist them in their daily chores and duties. It goes from clothing to like hard tools, just a bit of everything. Let's see. Yeah, okay. So the industrializing North and the agricultural South, that's how we have been taught to think about United States in the early 19th century. But doing so, we overlook some of the economic ties that held the nation together before the Civil War. And it talks about the tools the slaves made to assist, like pick cotton. So they would send it up north, and in up north they would what do with the cotton? Make clothing, make just abundant of things. So this story, this book, weaves the tale of how the free labor of slaves help build the economy. This is a good read. This is a must read. Okay, the next one in my 25 or 2025 is also a book that I have been anticipating to read, and I thought that this would be, this is just the time for it, right? This is The Barn, The Secret History of the Murder in Mississippi, Wright Thompson. He is also the author of Poppyland. Never heard of the book until just now. He got reviews from Amani Perry. That's a big one. Quite some big names. This is the story of Emmett Till's last few hours of life. As if you're not a follower of this particular story, tragedy in history, Emmett Till was a 14-year-old boy who went to Mississippi, Money, Mississippi, to visit his family. And there was an misunderstanding of his interaction with a white woman that led to his death. And so the story, I mean, like, his death is not a mystery, but the people who killed him got away with it. And so, but that's, I don't want to say, that's part of the norm, because it should not be the norm, but there are so many versions of the story of eyewitness accounts and what other people learned so far about this young man's death is just coming to pass. And so I think this would be interesting to learn and know a little bit more about. The Barn, Wright Thompson. Now, this one I really had to debate because I have several of this man's books. I'm just such a big fan of his. John Lewis, A Life. I got another one of his books in my birthday haul video. You can probably, I'll probably link that if I can find it. But this one is John Lewis, A Life, David Greenberg. And it basically tells the story of John Lewis' life. I don't know if it went from, let's see. There's my grumpy little cat. Yeah, it comes from when he was born. until the day until he passed away. So this is an all-inclusive. Like this is from his birth until his last day on earth. John Lewis. I am so looking forward to reading this book. Part of my 25 of 2025. All right, so let's continue. Let's continue. Now, this book may seem controversial, but it's not. I am like a big fan of history. I always wanted to know. I don't know. It's just history. It tells the story of life, right? Not everybody live like you do. Not everybody love like we love. Dress, eat, just life in general. So colorful, and I'm always open to learn about different religions, different cultures, and so this is one of them. A history of the Muslim world from its origins to the dawn of modernity. I don't know. By Michael Cook. I could never say that word right, but this tells the story of the origins of the Muslim faith, and so I just thought that was so interesting, and I am so looking forward to reading this book. I just thought that this year I would challenge myself more with. I was going to do like half fictional and half nonfiction, but I'm like, I want to do what my heart desires. And so this right here made the cut. A history of the Muslim world from its origins to the dawn of the modernity. I'm going to get that word right, y'all. Don't worry about that. This gem, I would say this is more or less professional development, motivational. I like to, expand my horizon on different nonfiction topics. And this one right here is the culture of Dunkin' Donuts. I knew that when I saw the book without looking at the word Dunkin' Donuts, just from the colors alone, right? It's like the bullseye of Target. If you see the bullseye, it doesn't matter what color it is, it reminds you of Target, and that's what I call good branding. So, such odd colors. The challenge culture, why the most successful organizations run on pushback. And I'm telling you, author Nigel Travis, chairman of the Dunkin' Donut brand. And so that was very smart how the packaging of the book. It's a very quick read. I thought that I would just give it a try and learn a little bit more about, Dunkin' Donuts challenges and how they still manage to stay afloat, right? In the midst of fancy coffees with 20 different names, and it's just, let me get a hazelnut coffee or just let me get a regular coffee. So this will be something interesting that I would like to read and hopefully share my thoughts with you guys. So let's see where we at right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Wow. I only did 10 books. Let's get to it. All right. This one right here is also You Are Not Alone. A NAMI guide to navigating mental health with advice from experts and wisdom from real people and families. I thought this was very interesting. Mental health is one of those topics that I do love reading and learning about. So this will be, I started reading it already, but I do plan on finishing this real soon. So this is part of my 25 of 2025. And we're going to say this is number what? 11? Okay. Not in that order, but just 11 out of 25. So, You Are Not Alone. Author Ken Duckworth, MD. Next one, another mental health book, My Mysterious Son, A Changing Life Passage Between Schizophrenia and Shamanism, Dick Russell. I found this one to be so interesting. I did read some of this passage, and I just thought it was very interesting to learn more about mental health and, you know, one person's enlightenment that changed their mind and forged to another, you know, to a spiritual path of wellness. So, A Mysterious Son by Dick Russell. I would definitely be reading this one this year. Now, I say this about all of my 25 to 2025, but the reason why these particular books made it to my top 25 of 2025, it was agonizing, is because there were books that I have already started reading previously, but didn't have the mindset, or was not motivated to finish, or something, things, you know, things that were going on, or, you know, right now those topics, they are overwhelmingly interesting to me, and I really do want to, you know, get more on topic and read about them. So let's go to our next one. The Have Never Has Never Been Told, Slavery and the Making of American Capitalism. This one right here is actually a reread. And when I read this, I want to annotate it. So it just talks about how slavery it created American economy. And that's what the book is in a nutshell. But this is, I would say, a recommended read. I'm going to start reading this. Whenever you see this video, I would have started reading this already. I'm going to start reading this particular book in February for Black History Month until I finish it. I'm not putting a deadline on it because I am going to annotate it. But The Half That Has Never Been Told, good book. I recommend it. Next one I will be reading is A Most Tolerant Little Town. This is, I wouldn't say one of my newer books, but I did get this one, I would say a little bit over a year ago. Never got the chance to get to it to read it. And no. I got this about 2 years ago. Wow. I know I got it when it came out. So let's look at this date, you guys. And this is going to be embarrassing. Okay, 2023. So yeah, 2 years ago. Just never got a chance to get around to it. Another thing that I'm doing is I'm focusing on books I already have instead of making a list of books that I potentially may get in the future. I'm just focusing on active physical TBRs that I have now. And this is, like I said, A Most Tolerant Little Town. And this is one of the origin stories of school segregation here in the United States. And so this should be a most interesting read as well. Author Rachel Louise Martin. And so I look forward to reading this. We're going to get into some children books and some other nonfiction, so don't worry. Another one is A Fistful of Shells. West Africa and the Rise of the Slave Trade in the Age of Revolution. Toby Green. I've read another one of Toby Green books on the history of Egypt. I forget the exact title, but he's a good writer. His writing is not very technical or scholarly. It's more organic, very descriptive. So if you're interested, I think this would be a good read. I'll let you know how I go, okay? A Fistful of Shells. All right. We are getting through this list, you guys. How the Word is Passed, a reckoning of the history of slavery across America. Now, he has got a blurb from Ibram X. Kendi, which is a lot, right? Clint Smith. And so I've heard reviews on this. I've seen book discussions on this, so I'm excited to finally put this on my list. I've had it for a while. Actually, short story, my son bought me this book, I think for Christmas, I want to say last year, and I've already had the book, so he had bought me a paperback. So he had ended up taking the book back and getting me something else. So, when someone knows what you like, they know what you like. So, um, yeah. So I will be reading this year, my 25 of 2025. So let's continue. We are almost done, and I want to get to some nonfiction books. I want to get those last, um, because I don't know. It's just in the order I have them. Um, Next one is The First Immigration, how Black Homesteaders' Quest for Land and Freedom herald America's Great Migration. And we have it. I got this book, I would say a couple of years ago, for about $3 off of Amazon. It was on sale. So I look forward to reading this. I don't have much to say about it per se right now, but I do look forward to seeing that. So let's get over here to some of my more nonfiction books, and then I'm going to give you some of my honorable mentions, okay? The next one we have is Blended. And you have to excuse me because, you know, these books are tattered. And Sharon M. Draper. And I had this book for a while. I got this book for a young person. Kind of found out there wasn't the type of readings they preferred, so I just kept it for myself. But I am going to read it. This book right here was actually introduced to me by a YouTuber. And she gave such a great review on this book. When I saw it at the bookstore, I decided to get it for myself and not a young person, right? And the book is called The Swifts, A Dictionary of Scoundrels. And this is an exclusive Barnes & Noble's edition. Paperback. Lovely, lovely. I like this. Beth Lincoln, the author, just came out with a second one. What is the name of it? Here we go, right here. You see in the back? It say The Swifts, a gallery of rogues. So I'm excited. I'm going to read this, and I'm going to actually probably read the newer edition, the newer one as well. So very interesting. And even though I am a fan of hardback books, hardcover books, I don't mind paperbacks, especially with beautiful edges like this, right? And if I like this book, I will probably just read it and just give it to some, a young person, or maybe just keep it for myself. Who knows? But it is on my list this year. The next one, a book, I've read this book over 20 years ago, the last time. And prior to that, it was probably maybe 10 years ago, 10 years before that. So I've read this book a couple of times, and I want to read it again. The Uncle Tom's Cabin, and I want to read it again because I don't know. This is a timeless classic, and it speaks a lot of relevancy of what we're dealing with today. So, yeah, Uncle Tom's Cabinet. Author Harriet Beecher Stowe. Very nice. This book was a hidden gem. I got this one from, I want to say, my dollar store. Lights Out in Lincolnwood Now by Jeff Rodkey. I heard about this book also on BookTube from one of the booktubers. Gave it a really good review, and so when I saw it at my local dollar store, I knew I had to get it. That's part of my 25 of 2025, and we're almost done. I wanted to keep this video down to a half an hour, so let me hurry up. A classic I have, Moby Dick, White Whale. This is the unabridged classic that I do have by Herman Melville. And this one is also I got the review from a YouTuber. Delicate Conditions. Her body is no longer hers. And when she gave the review of this book, I instantly went to search for it and found a good deal. I think I paid like maybe $4 for this book on Amazon. So I will be reading that this year. Who is the author? Oh, I'm sorry. Danielle Valentine. There we go, Danielle Valentine. I do want to give the authors, just in case you're interested in purchasing any of these books for your reading, TBR. This one right here has been, I've heard really good reviews about this, so I'm hoping that this would be a pleasant read for me. I also downloaded this in my audiobook, so I'll be doing like a mixed media for this book and probably some of the several books if I have them on my audio stream. But this is Cloud Cuckoo Land, Anthony Doerr. And All the Light We Cannot See has been re-released as a special collection at various stores. So I want to read this one first and see if I like it, and if I do like it, I will look into his other work. So I do plan on reading this for 2025. Very nice. I got this one from the dollar store, the thrift store. So that's where I found this one at. So that was a good deal. But last and not least of the 2025 or 2025 is Paradise. So I had to, it was a choice between Paradise and Beloved. I wanted to read Beloved. I read Beloved. I read Paradise. But I wanted to, I guess Paradise was the one that pulled me in. So Paradise by Toni Morrison. She is no longer with us, but her books, her literature, they're just prolific. And if you've ever read anything by her and you were not moved, you did not read it at the right season in your life. So Toni Morrison, love her work. And so yes, she made it in my top 25 of 2025. Not to say I would not read any of her other work this year, but this is the one book that I will be reading in 2025. Now, that is my 25, but I do have 2 honorable mentions. Reason being is that these are 2 subjects that I have been really interested in. One, basically, for historical context and understanding, and it is the Chinese Opium Wars, Jack Beeching. I found this one at a used bookstore, and I'm gonna tell you this, for it to be a used book, it was pretty pricey. I think I paid $20 for this book, but when I looked it up on other websites, because I've been looking for this book for a while, it was, the price was astronomical, so I think I got a good deal on it. And so this is an honorable mention. I may or may not have time to read it, but I thought I would mention that. And the last but not least of the honorable mentions is Munich, The Price of Peace. a definitive account of the Faithful Conference of 1938 by Telford Taylor. And so, we'll see. We will see. Honorable mention. So, not to hold you guys up, but that is my 2025, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you come back soon for my next 25 or 2025, whatever that may be. We are in January, so more likely my next 25 or 2025 would be for Black History Month. My top 25 or 2025 recommendations and books to read. So until then, you have a beautiful evening wherever you are, or a beautiful day wherever you are in the world. So until next time, see you soon. Bye bye.